And I had this moment of, fuck this, no way, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to relearn how to love art. Hi, I'm Juliet and welcome to my first video. I wanted to show you a full clip-by-clip process in a time-lapse of me creating an artwork. And I went to a really artsy private school. It was a Waldorf school. And they really value intermixing your education and your art there. So I grew up creating all sorts of things outside of it and in assignments. It really wasn't a grade-oriented school, so a lot of what I did was just for myself. And I just loved making art. That was always my thing. I never criticized myself, ever. Everything I did was like made from the hands of God. And then I was thrown into a public school with a really competitive art program. And at that school, I think I lost a lot of the magic I had before of just self-belief and enjoying creating whatever I want, because of the pressure of grades and the critiques, the criticism we would have, the comparisons that were perpetuated by both students and teachers. Since then, my enjoyment with making art has gone from way up here, and it has slowly sunk down. It was anger building up, resentment, pain because I had to go home and work on stuff that I hated and wasn't passionate about and second guess. So at that point I had such bad senioritis. This was senior year, and I finished out the year, and at the end of it I told myself I'm gonna make art this summer, but there's gonna be no pressure on it. I'm gonna make whatever I want. So this piece I'm about to show you after that long-winded explanation is one of those. It was just whatever was floating around in my conscious. I just started on it on the white page. And this one, I don't even know where it came from. I mean, I have some idea, but it's a little weird. It's a little unusual for me, and that's exactly how I love it. The opinions of everyone I've ever known do not matter anymore. I'm letting go of that pain of being critiqued on my art, which always stopped me. It really didn't help me, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't take criticism and that criticism isn't a helpful component to improvement, but I don't know if I'm just too sensitive or if art is supposed to be a solitary thing that nobody can comment and intervene on for me. But I know that it never helped me. It just stunted me and took credit away from me. It made me fall out of love with some of the things that used to be magical. I don't want to say that it's anyone's fault. It's not mine. It's not anyone who's ever said anything to me. They were all wanting me to improve or worrying about their own skill in comparison. Jealousy was a big component at my competitive school. But what I'm saying is that I need a revolution within myself surrounding art, and luckily I have some kind of guidance. I have this idea to do it. I know it's the right thing for me to heal, and I just want to share some of what I'm doing with you. Sometimes I start off my pieces by writing a poem, because what I'm trying to do is express what's in my conscious into a visual form, but words have always come more naturally. So here I started by just seeing a vague shape in it all. What I saw was a man's head and a woman's head, and the woman appeared to be at the right distance away to be whispering something. So I started drawing the man, and he started looking like an elf, which is pretty typical of me. And I thought the woman should have a little hood on, a spoof of blonde hair. By the way, I'm just putting shadows where I intuit them, not necessarily what's anatomically accurate, which is kind of a problem of mine, but I personally like it. I think it adds more humanity to it all. I'm trying to add more contrast. I'm getting away from being really pale in my palette like I've done this past year. And one way I like to do that is with the pen. So I go back over with a pen doing little hash marks, little lines. This is when I start adding the background. So originally I just wanted to do a little thumbnail almost art piece, but seeing as how I'd already started a purple background to add contrast and how ghostly and unattached it looked on the page, I went for the background. And that's when my idea of the context behind this picture started taking place. So I wanted this man that looks like an elf with a red and white Christmassy hat to be a top elf of Santa Claus. And this other woman who also looks elfish can be a confidant. So now I continue to darken, knowing that the white spaces have to glow. If this is truly at night, then the lamp is the source of light. It needs to glow, and I need to deepen the shadows on the right side of the elf's face and the back of the hood and the arm. And at that point, I decided to add a hand to the heart, adding to the scandalous secret that I imagine issuing forth from the woman elf, and the snow globe to their chest, adding to mystery, adding to intrigue. I fix the problems I see. The shelf at the top is going too far back, skewing the perspective. So I shorten the present floating there. I darken the rolls of wrapping paper. I add shadows. This elf man, the expression on his face turns out to be absent-minded. I pop on a filter, and this is how the final piece works. Nothing like I ever would have imagined when I took this first one here. But so beautiful, and such progress for me, adding contrast. It's hard for me to even imagine.